As she laid her husband to rest, her conspicuous lack of sorrow raised eyebrows among the mourners. They didn't know that she had entered into a clandestine union with him solely for the promise of his vast fortune. To her, his passing marked the culmination of a calculated plan where everything he owned was supposed to become hers. However, life had an unexpected turn in store. Unbeknownst to her, a colossal and utterly bizarre surprise lurked just around the corner, poised to shatter her preconceived notions of wealth and destiny. This twist of fate would take her on an emotional roller coaster she could never have foreseen, challenging the core of her desires and leading her down a path filled with unexpected emotions, secrets, and revelations. In the shadow of her husband's funeral, a scene steeped in grief and finality, Miranda presented an enigma. Surrounded by mourners immersed in their sorrow, their eyes locked on the solemnity of the grave, she alone looked skyward, her expression a silent riddle. Amidst the collective heartache, Miranda's mind wandered, not through memories of past love or the sharp sting of loss, but through the corridors of impending affluence. Unbeknownst to the gathered, her thoughts were not with the departed, but with a secret anticipation of the wealth he had left behind. As the funeral rites unfolded, her hidden aspirations began to stitch a narrative far removed from the expected script of a widow's mourning. What lay ahead was a web of intrigue and deceit, a storyline poised to unfold in unexpected chapters, ensnaring the attention and imagination of all who thought they knew the essence of Miranda's grief. In the somber ambience of mourning, Miranda's aura clashed with the palpable discomfort of her late husband's kin, their skepticism about her intentions having simmered over time. They endeavored to maintain a respectful distance, yet Miranda, undeterred, had a different script in mind. As the funeral proceedings commenced, she veered off the expected path of silent grieving, launching a sharp critique on the meager turnout, her words slicing through the mournful air. This abrupt provocation ignited simmering tensions, revealing the depth of her strategic foresight. Miranda's maneuver was more than a mere outburst. It was a calculated move in a complex chess game of familial dynamics and hidden grievances. Her actions hinted at a deeper scheme, one entangled with the family's unresolved issues, heralding a storm of revelations and emotional upheaval that promised to leave an indelible mark on all involved. While the family poured their hearts into arranging a dignified farewell, Miranda floated on the fringes, her detachment stark and conspicuous. Despite her apparent lack of interest, she chose a moment fraught with emotion to assert her presence dramatically. Her sudden verbal assault on her stepson shattered the mournful quietude. Her accusations of negligence in the face of a modestly attended service cut deeply, stirring the latent undercurrents of familial discord. The air, once heavy with grief, now crackled with tension as layers of suppressed grievances and bitter disputes surfaced. This eruption of raw emotion and unresolved conflict, instigated by Miranda's provocations, transformed the funeral into a battleground of personal vendettas and exposed wounds, leaving attendees aghast at the spectacle of a family unraveling at a time when unity was most needed. Amid Miranda's heated reproach, Robert, her stepson, stood his ground, his composure unshaken. He calmly explained, "Father expressly wanted it this way. He had a good reason, one you couldn't possibly understand." A silence descended, their gazes locked in a wordless standoff, heavy with unspoken resentment. Beneath the surface, a deep-seated family strife, compounded by Miranda's judgmental silence, hinted at a labyrinthine web of secrets and emotions yet to unravel. As the tension thickened, it became evident that the funeral was merely the stage for a far more intricate and suspenseful family drama. Previously enshrouded in an armor of apathy, Miranda remained seemingly impervious to the emotional gravity surrounding her. Her disinterest was palpable, punctuated by a yawn that dismissed the solemnity of the funeral rites unfolding around her. Yet, the narrative took an unforeseen twist as sotto voce exchanges, like threads of intrigue, weaved their way through the gathered mourners to Miranda's ears. The whispers, laden with the weight of concealed truths, cut through her facade of disengagement, igniting a spark of interest within her. Suddenly, the landscape of her world shifted. The murmurs promised revelations that could undermine the very foundation of the indifference she had displayed. Miranda found herself at a pivotal juncture when caught in the web of whispered secrets. The prospect of unearthing hidden skeletons, long buried within the family's closet, threatened to dismantle the veneer of detachment she had meticulously maintained, propelling her into the heart of the family's most guarded mysteries. Miranda's facade of detachment crumbled as she inadvertently became the audience to a secretive dialogue between her stepson and his sister. Their whispers, barely discernible yet laden with urgency, hinted at an imminent event. Tomorrow, it's going to happen. This snippet of conspiracy, caught amidst the solemn backdrop of a funeral, stoked the flames of Miranda's curiosity and frustration. No longer content to remain on the periphery, her determination surged. She was now a woman on a mission, intent on piercing through the veil of secrecy that had ensnared her attention. As the final words of the eulogy faded into silence, Miranda braced herself for a confrontation. The stage was set for a dramatic post-funeral encounter, with Miranda at the helm, poised to delve into the heart of the whispered scheme. This impending revelation promised to ripple through the family, challenging the fragile equilibrium and exposing the depth of intrigue that lay beneath their collective mourning. As the funeral drew to a close, Miranda's frustration finally boiled over, and she confronted her husband's family with a pointed question. "What were you whispering about? What is going to happen tomorrow?" Her accusations hung in the air, but Robert and his siblings swiftly dismissed her claims, insisting she must have misunderstood. According to them, nothing unusual was on the horizon, just a routine appointment with the notary. Yet the dissonance between Miranda's suspicions and their dismissals left a lingering sense of intrigue, hinting that there might be more to the story than met the eye. Miranda, whose patience had been tested through years of a seemingly mundane marriage and the trials of familial secrecy, found her spirits buoyed as the notary appointment loomed. This wasn't just any meeting. It was the culmination of her endurance, the reward she had envisioned amid the intricacies of her late husband's family dynamics. With her eyes set firmly on the horizon of newfound wealth, Miranda's anticipation reached its zenith. The forthcoming disclosure of her inheritance was a beacon, guiding her through the remnants of her past life's drudgery. Yet as she stood on the cusp of this long-awaited revelation, an unforeseen twist awaited. The notary's documents would soon reveal a reality far removed from the future Miranda had so meticulously painted in her mind, steering her destiny down an uncharted path. Stepping into the notary's office with poised anticipation, Miranda was met with an unexpected emptiness, a space void of her late husband's family who had already concluded their business and left. A smirk of satisfaction played upon Miranda's lips as she interpreted their swift departure as a sign of disappointment, assuming they had received little or nothing. The notion of their potential misfortune filled her with a sense of vindication, believing herself to be the victor in this silent battle for her late husband's estate. However, unbeknownst to Miranda, their hasty exit marked only the inception of a labyrinthine journey into the depths of her husband's legacy, where twists and revelations awaited, challenging her assumptions and reshaping her perception of her own role in the unfolding drama of inheritance. With a smug grin, Miranda couldn't resist the urge to taunt her husband's family as they exited the notary's office. Her words dripped with satisfaction, confident in her assumption that their swift departure signaled their disappointment in the inheritance. Yet, as Robert's dismissive shake of the head and the siblings' evasive glances met her proclamation, a seed of uncertainty began to bloom within Miranda's triumphant facade. Her apparent victory now appeared shrouded in mystery, hinting at depths of complexity she had not anticipated. Little did Miranda know, her gloating marked only the beginning of a journey rife with twists and turns, where the truth behind her husband's legacy would defy her expectations and challenge her perception of victory. As she stood amidst the echoes of her own words, Miranda braced herself for the revelations that lay ahead, poised on the precipice of a truth far more intricate than she had ever imagined. Seated across from the notary, Miranda's impatience radiated like a crackling flame, consuming the air around her. Her brusque demeanor brooked no pleasantries, her urgent demands leaving no room for delay. "Enough with the pleasantries. Just tell me what I've inherited," she insisted, her tapping fingers punctuating the tension that hung thick in the room. Yet the notary remained stoically unmoved by her urgency, his composure unwavering in the face of her impatience. With a deliberate pause, he cleared his throat, shrouding his words in an enigmatic air as he unveiled the long-kept secrets of her husband's estate. Little did Miranda know, the truth she sought would transcend the bounds of her imagination, unfurling into a tapestry of surprises and intricacies that would redefine her understanding of her husband's legacy. As the notary's words washed over her, Miranda braced herself for a revelation that would reshape the very fabric of her existence. With a deliberate grace, the notary retrieved a lone, slender envelope from the depths of his drawer. Miranda's facade of impatience faltered briefly, replaced by a flicker of confusion as she inquired, "Is that all?" The notary's solemn nod, accompanied by the tracing of his finger along the sealed envelope's edge, only intensified her apprehension. A wave of unease washed over Miranda as she beheld the enigmatic envelope, her mind a tempest of curiosity and anxiety. What secrets lay concealed within its confines? What revelations awaited her, poised to reshape the course of her life and illuminate the shadowed corners of her husband's legacy? As the notary's gaze met hers, Miranda braced herself for the unveiling of truths long buried and destinies yet to be forged. With trembling fingers, she reached for the envelope, ready to confront the enigma that held the key to her husband's secrets and, perhaps, her own destiny. With a deliberate and measured demeanor, the notary extracted an old, tarnished key from the envelope, gently placing it on the desk between them. Miranda's curiosity intensified as she watched this unexpected turn of events unfold. "Your husband left instructions," he began, pushing the key closer to her. Then, from the same envelope, he produced a second item. "These are directions on where you should go with the key," the notary explained, leaving Miranda on the precipice of a mysterious journey that promised to reveal the hidden depths of her inheritance. In a heartbeat, Miranda's emotions careened from anticipation to a tempest of anger and confusion. As her eyes flitted from the nondescript key to the composed countenance of the notary, a surge of frustration seized her. "Is this a joke?" she spat, her clenched fist crashing against the desk in a thunderous echo, her complexion ablaze with indignation. "Where's my inheritance? Where's the fortune I was promised?" Her furious tirade reverberated through the office, a crescendo of fury that echoed beyond its confines, reaching the farthest corners of the parking lot. In that explosive moment, Miranda stood poised on the precipice of a confrontation, her world shaken to its core by the revelation of illusions shattered, her resolve steeled against the unraveling truths that challenged everything she thought she knew. The notary responded with a forced smile, though his underlying discontent with Miranda's attitude was evident. "Everything will become clear at this address," he replied, extending a slip of paper bearing handwritten coordinates. His words were mysterious, and he continued, "Your husband had unique ways of expressing his wishes. It would be wise to follow them." As Miranda received the cryptic coordinates, She found herself on the precipice of a journey that would unravel her husband's enigmatic legacy, and she couldn't help but wonder what lay ahead at the mysterious destination. Reluctantly, Miranda accepted the key and the handwritten coordinates from the notary, her frustration palpable as she climbed into her car. With a heavy sigh, she embarked on the journey to the mysterious address, her mind wrestling with her late husband's cryptic intentions. Every twist and turn of the road seemed to amplify her annoyance, each mile stretching like an eternity as she endeavored to decipher the enigma before her. Yet, despite her exasperation, a flicker of anticipation danced beneath the surface, driving her forward toward the resolution she sought. Finally, as the journey drew to its conclusion, Miranda's heart quickened with anticipation. With bated breath, she gazed upon the final destination, a beacon of promise that held the key to unraveling the mysteries left behind by her husband. As she stepped into the unknown, Miranda braced herself for the revelations that awaited, ready to confront the truths that lay hidden within the depths of the enigma before her. Miranda stood in front of the dilapidated mansion, a haunting monument to neglect and decay. Once a symbol of grandeur, it now loomed as a desolate shell, consumed by the relentless passage of time. The overgrown foliage and shattered windows bore witness to years of abandonment, each crack and crevice a testament to the absence of care and love. Her frustration boiled over as she approached the front door, the weight of disappointment heavy in her chest. "Is this what he left me?" Miranda's voice reverberated through the stillness, a sharp contrast to the eerie silence that enveloped the house. With trembling hands, she inserted the key into the lock, steeling herself for the unknown that lay beyond the deteriorating facade. As the door creaked open, Miranda braced herself for the revelations that awaited her within the confines of the decaying mansion, prepared to confront the ghosts of the past and unravel the mysteries that had haunted her since her husband's passing. Pushing open the creaking door, Miranda's gaze fixated on a solitary piece of parchment resting upon an old, dust-laden table, the only semblance of life within the desolate interior. Its presence was undeniable, drawing her towards it with an irresistible allure. With cautious steps, Miranda approached the table, a shiver of apprehension coursing through her veins. Her fingers quivered as they reached out to grasp the letter, its faded script whispering of secrets long buried. As her eyes traversed the words, "To my dear wife," Miranda felt the weight of anticipation settles upon her shoulders. With each sentence, the veil of mystery that shrouded her husband's legacy began to lift, revealing truths that had lain dormant for far too long. In the dim light of the neglected hall, Miranda found herself at the threshold of revelation, poised to uncover the echoes of the past that would reshape her understanding of her husband's enigmatic legacy. In the flickering light of the neglected hall, Miranda's anticipation turned to disbelief as she perused the contents of the letter. Instead of the expected sentiments of love or the promise of inheritance, she was met with a series of cryptic instructions, each more peculiar than the last. Her brow furrowed in suspicion, confusion tightening its grip around her thoughts. This unexpected turn left her questioning the true intentions of her late husband. "Is that stupid man playing a game with me?" she muttered, her frustration palpable in the dimness of the room. As she grappled with the enigmatic puzzle laid before her, Miranda felt the tendrils of intrigue and uncertainty wrap around her, drawing her deeper into the labyrinth of her husband's intentions. With each passing moment, the mystery seemed to deepen, leaving her to navigate the twists and turns of his final riddles with a newfound sense of determination. Doubt crept into Miranda's mind as she perused the peculiar instructions on the paper. While they struck her as strange, her unwavering desire for the inheritance pushed her to consider that there might be a larger, hidden purpose she couldn't yet discern. With a deep breath, she steeled herself for the journey ahead. Resolute, she decided to follow each step of the enigmatic instructions, hoping they would eventually unveil the fortune she so desperately sought. Miranda's pursuit of her husband's cryptic legacy had only begun, and the path ahead promised to be filled with surprises, challenges, and revelations. Unlike most who might question their actions after reading such cryptic instructions, Miranda's response was anything but conventional. She rushed to the nearest room, where a wedding photo rested on a small table. Without hesitation, she set the cherished memory ablaze, her eyes fixed on the flames as they consumed the remnants of her past. In that fiery moment, Miranda embarked on a journey of drastic choices, each step in pursuit of her husband's enigmatic legacy. The path ahead was uncertain, and her sacrifices would challenge her in ways she had never imagined. Yet, driven by a potent mix of determination and love, she pressed on, ready to confront whatever trials lay ahead in her quest to unravel the mysteries of her husband's past and secure his lasting memory. As the wedding picture turned to ash, memories of their honeymoon flooded Miranda's mind. She recalled spending most of the time indulging in shopping sprees for herself, often leaving her husband to explore the romantic city alone. It was a vivid reminder of how her greed had overshadowed their union, even in those intimate moments. Yet, strangely, those memories failed to stir any remorse within her. Her thoughts remained fixated on the fortune she sought, her relentless pursuit of wealth casting a shadow over the past. Miranda's journey was far from over, and her unyielding focus on material gain would continue to guide her down a path fraught with unexpected twists and revelations. With the warmth of the photo's ashes still fresh in her mind, Miranda tightly clutched the list of instructions. The next directive was clear and unyielding. Go to the bedroom and tear up the letters. Bewildered but unwavering in her determination, she stormed up the creaking staircase, resolved to locate and destroy these mysterious letters. Eager to fulfill this second instruction, Miranda firmly believed compliance was the key to unlocking her long-awaited inheritance. Her relentless pursuit of wealth led her deeper into a labyrinth of secrets, where each command held the promise of revelation and reward, keeping her driven despite the enigma surrounding her husband's legacy. As Miranda reached the dimly lit bedroom at the top of the staircase, she saw an old bed adorned with a stack of sealed envelopes neatly arranged deliberately. Her sole intent was to tear them to pieces per the enigmatic instructions. However, curiosity got the better of her, and she impulsively opened one of the letters, her impatience evident in her hurried reading. Miranda's pursuit of her inheritance was briefly set aside at that moment as the letter's contents captured her attention. Little did she know that the secrets contained within those envelopes would lead her down a path filled with unexpected revelations and choices, further entwining her fate with the enigma left behind by her husband. As Miranda impatiently tore open one of the envelopes, she was met with a surprising revelation. The letters inside were penned by her late husband, filled with declarations of love, longing, and a genuine desire for a deeper connection between them. In his words, it became painfully evident that while she had seen their relationship as a transaction, he had held on to hope for a loving partnership. With each sentence, Miranda confronted the stark contrast between her perception of their union and her husband's heartfelt yearning for genuine love. The letters served as a poignant reminder of what might have been, and they left her grappling with emotions she had long ignored in her relentless pursuit of wealth. Despite the heartfelt words in the letters, Miranda remained emotionally detached, viewing them as nothing more than obstacles in her path. She tore the letters to shreds with cold resolve and a complete absence of remorse, focusing solely on the next instruction that would pave the way to her long-awaited inheritance. Miranda's unyielding pursuit of wealth had led her to a point where even expressions of love and longing held no sway over her. A relentless desire for material gain drove her journey. This path continued to test the limits of her determination and the depths of her detachment from the emotions she had long forsaken. Glancing at the next instruction, Miranda's irritation intensified. She had grown weary of this enigmatic game her husband had orchestrated. "Enough of these nonsensical tasks," she muttered, clutching the list tighter. Her longing for the promised wealth intensified with each passing moment. Every second spent on these mysterious instructions was time she felt could have been better spent indulging in her material desires, shopping, or enjoying the company of friends. The relentless pursuit of her inheritance had left Miranda exasperated, her patience stretched to its limits. As Miranda approached the culmination of her husband's cryptic quest, a wave of relief washed over her weary soul. Finally, an end was in sight, promising respite from the enigmatic labyrinth that had consumed her thoughts. With each step closer to the final task, anticipation swelled within her, fueling the flicker of hope that had endured amidst the darkness of uncertainty. The prospect of impending wealth beckoned like a distant beacon, guiding her towards the basement where her future awaited. With a mixture of eagerness and impatience, Miranda braced herself to descend into the depths, ready to uncover the last fragment of the puzzle that had driven her relentless pursuit. As she stood on the threshold of revelation, her heart pulsed with the promise of redemption, poised to claim the fortune that awaited her in the shadows below. The allure of her inheritance consumed her thoughts entirely. For the past 4 years, it had been the singular focus of her life, a relentless pursuit that began when she married her husband, counting down to the day of his passing. Now, at the precipice of her journey's end, the promise of the substantial wealth she had longed for with all her heart beckoned her forward. The basement held the key to her future, and Miranda was determined to claim her prize, her unwavering pursuit finally on the brink of realization. With hurried and anxious footsteps echoing through the house, Miranda embarked on a frantic search for the entrance to the cellar. Her sense of urgency was palpable, her haste resonating in every room as she scoured the house. After what felt like an eternity, she finally located the weathered door that led to the basement. Miranda's trembling hands betrayed her anxiety as the door creaked open, revealing the dimly lit staircase descending into the unknown. With each step she took, she drew closer to the ultimate revelation, her heart pounding with anticipation as she sank further into the depths of her husband's enigmatic legacy. Miranda proceeded with caution, each step taking her further into the subterranean depths of the house. The concrete space beneath the house was shrouded in darkness, casting an eerie and unsettling atmosphere. The thrill of the unknown mixed with her growing sense of anticipation. Yet, as she ventured deeper into the basement, a peculiar feeling began to envelop her. Strange noises emanated from within the house above, a disconcerting contrast to the excitement of her descent. The eerie ambience and unsettling sounds hinted at the mysterious and unpredictable nature of the final stage of her journey. In the dim expanse of the basement, Miranda's senses heightened, attuned to the slightest disturbance in the oppressive silence. The mysterious echoes reverberating from the house above sent a shiver down her spine, igniting a spark of unease within her. Despite her exhaustive search that had left no corner unexplored, Miranda now found herself grappling with the unsettling notion that she was not alone. The faint whisper of footsteps danced on the edge of her consciousness, casting doubt upon her solitude and stirring a primal fear within her soul. As doubt and uncertainty coiled around her thoughts, Miranda's resolve wavered, her once unyielding determination faltering in the face of the unknown. With each passing moment, the eerie silence of the basement grew heavier, suffused with the chilling realization that she may not be the sole inhabitant of this forsaken house. Breathless and trembling, she finally reached the expansive basement, her heart pounding with anticipation. Here, in the dimly lit confines, she believed herself to be safe from the unexpected twists that had plagued her journey thus far. Yet, as Miranda soon discovered, Safety was but an illusion in the shadows of the basement. In the depths of this forsaken space, hidden truths lay waiting to be unveiled, their revelations poised to shatter the fragile facade of her assumptions. With every passing moment, Miranda teetered on the precipice of discovery, unaware of the fateful revelations that awaited her in the depths of the unknown. At the epicenter of her enigmatic odyssey, Miranda stood before the weathered wooden dresser, its presence a beacon amidst the desolation of the basement. With a mixture of trepidation and anticipation, she approached, her fingers trembling as she grasped the worn handles and pulled open the drawers. Within lay only 2 items, a modest hand mirror and a folded note, their simplicity belied by the weight of the revelations they promised. With bated breath, Miranda retrieved the note, her heart pounding with the fervent desire for truth. As she unfolded the parchment, each word etched upon its surface held the potential to unravel the mysteries that had plagued her since her husband's passing. With eyes trained on the delicate script, Miranda stood on the precipice of revelation, poised to confront the echoes of her past and unveil the truths that had remained hidden for far too long. Hesitantly, Miranda lifted the hand mirror, gazing into her irritated reflection. The mirror amplifies the depth of her greed and impatience, a stark reminder of her relentless pursuit of wealth. Confusion welled within her as she grappled with the disappointing reality that greeted her, an image of her face in the mirror. The disconnect between her expectations of treasures and the mundane reflection she held left her bewildered. Miranda grappled with the enigma of it all, struggling to decipher the meaning behind her husband's cryptic instructions and the seemingly ordinary mirror that stood before her. With trembling hands, Miranda unraveled the note, her husband's cryptic message dancing before her eyes. Yet, as the faded ink revealed his enigmatic words, "Here you see the reflection of our relationship and the reflection of your future." Her heart sank, weighed down not by disappointment, but by a profound sense of uncertainty. In that moment, the true significance of the mirror eluded her grasp, leaving her adrift in a sea of confusion. Unbeknownst to her, the revelation she sought remained just beyond her reach, poised to unveil a truth far deeper and more profound than she could have ever imagined. As Miranda stood on the precipice of understanding, the echoes of her past and the shadows of her future intertwined, casting a veil of uncertainty over the path that lay ahead. Little did she know, the journey to uncover the secrets hidden within the mirror would lead her to confront truths she had long overlooked, forever altering the course of her destiny. With frustration boiling over and confusion gnawing at her, Miranda grappled with her husband's cryptic words. "Reflection of our relationship, of my future," she muttered, her exasperation palpable in the dimness of the basement. "Why is this man toying with me, even after his death?" Clutching the mirror tightly, she sought solace in its reflection, hoping to find clarity amidst the chaos. Yet, as her gaze met her own reflection, the truth she had long sought came crashing down upon her with the force of a revelation. In the depths of the mirror's glass, Miranda beheld a reflection that defied all logic and reason, a glimpse into a world that existed beyond the confines of her understanding. With her world teetering on the brink of transformation, Miranda stood frozen in shock, her very perception of reality hanging in the balance as the echoes of her past and the shadows of her future converged in a singular moment of profound revelation. As Miranda gazed into the mirror, she beheld her own familiar face, marred by anger and greed, just as before. But this time, there was something more, something that sent shivers down her spine. In the reflection, she saw an ominous figure sitting in the same dark room behind her, slowly rising and moving toward her. Fear gripped her heart as she watched the shadowy presence approach. The mirror had unveiled a presence she had not expected, and the implications of this eerie encounter left her paralyzed with dread, her understanding of reality unraveling before her eyes. In a moment of terror, Miranda's greed had led her to ignore the strange noises she heard within the house earlier. However, the source of those unsettling sounds had revealed itself. A shadowy figure slowly advancing towards her. Fear coursing through her veins, she could no longer deny its presence. "Who are you? What do you want from me? Show yourself!" she shouted at the ominous figure lurking in the corner, her voice trembling with fear and anger. Miranda stood her ground, ready to confront the unknown and demand answers. Her journey through her husband's cryptic legacy taking an unforeseen and chilling turn. The shadowy figure continued to inch closer, still obscured by darkness, rendering his identity a mystery. But as he began to speak, the puzzle pieces fell into place. A voice emerged from the individual, extending a haunting welcome to Miranda into his childhood home, an area once brimming with love during his formative years, from boyhood to young adulthood. The revelation in the voice left Miranda in a state of astonishment and confusion. The home she had believed to be solely her late husband's was now steeped in the memories of another's past. As she stood face to face with this enigmatic presence, Miranda's journey through her husband's legacy took an unexpected and poignant turn, unveiling a deeper connection to his past that she had never imagined. Miranda's disbelief and astonishment reached a crescendo as the figure emerged from the shadows before she stood. The man was attached to the voice, an unmistakable image of her late husband. "But that cannot be. You died. I was at your funeral," Miranda protested in profound disbelief. Yet, as her husband's face drew closer to her, the undeniable reality of the situation became clear. It was him, in the flesh, standing before her. The implications of this astonishing reunion and the mysteries surrounding her husband's apparent return were about to unravel in ways that Miranda could scarcely imagine. As her husband began to speak, he unveiled the astonishing truth. His death had been a carefully orchestrated ruse, a grand test that had unfolded over months. He had conspired with his children and a close friend, who also happened to be his notary, to execute this elaborate deception. Miranda had failed the test miserably in his eyes, her relentless pursuit of wealth and disregard for their relationship, revealing a dark and selfish side that he had hoped to change. The magnitude of the truth behind his actions left Miranda stunned as the web of lies unraveled, and the consequences of her choices bore down upon her. Amid the revelation, Miranda's husband revealed his true intentions. He had orchestrated this elaborate scheme to confront her with the error of her ways, to lay bare her greed and her exploitation of his love for her, all for her selfish gain. As the weight of his words settled upon her, he posed a haunting question. "Did you ever truly love me?" It was a question that pierced the core of her being, forcing her to confront the harsh reality of her actions and the toll they had taken on their relationship. Miranda stood at a crossroads, her choices and their consequences laid bare before her as she grappled with the revelation of her true nature. Miranda offered a solemn, negative nod in response to the haunting question, an admission of truth both had long suspected, but had now been laid bare. Her husband, in turn, forgave her with a heavy heart, his decision born out of a desire to finally confront the reality of their relationship. However, despite the forgiveness, he clarified that their paths must part forever. "Go now, and I never want to see your face ever again," he declared, the weight of their shared history and the consequences of her actions prompting a final farewell that left Miranda with no choice but to heed his words and disappear from his life. Miranda's life lay in ruins as the truth of her actions and her husband's judgment crashed down upon her. The revelation had exposed the depth of her flaws and selfishness, and while it may not have fundamentally changed her, she recognized that nothing was left for her here. With tears streaming down her face, Miranda fled the house, her sobs echoing the profound loss she felt. She understood that she had just lost everything, her relentless pursuit of wealth having cost her the love and connection she had once had, leaving her with the harsh realization of the consequences of her choices. As Miranda rushed past the front doorway of the house, a sense of déjà vu washed over her. In a twist of fate, her late husband's children emerged from the door, stepping into the house just as she had done before, mirroring the scene at the notary's office, but in reverse. Now it was Miranda who was leaving, her departure marking the final chapter of a journey that had shattered her life and brought her face to face with the consequences of her actions. The roles had reversed, and she departed for good, forever changed by the revelations and lessons learned in the wake of her relentless pursuit of wealth. As Miranda drove away, her chapter in this tale ended. In her absence, the loving father stepped into the hallway of his home and warmly embraced his children, their hearts now free from the shadows of deception and secrecy. Together, they glanced around the house one last time, a place that held cherished memories and the echoes of a complex plan to reveal the truth. With a shared sense of closure, they left behind the old family home, embarking on a journey toward a brighter future, united by the love and lessons they had gained from their unconventional reunion. In the wake of the elaborate ruse and the lessons learned, the millionaire had come to terms with his new life. He realized that he did not need a wife to find happiness because he already possessed something far more valuable. This loving family appreciated him for who he was. In their eyes, his wealth was inconsequential. His presence and love mattered. They didn't need his money. They needed him to be present, to love them, and to cherish the moments they shared. With newfound clarity, the millionaire discovered that the true measure of wealth lay not in material possessions, but in the bonds of love and the warmth of a family that had stood the test of time and adversity. If you want to continue enjoying inspiring stories like this one, subscribe to our channel or check out the other videos shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for your cooperation.